It's time for you to listen to the non-politically biased blue-collar tip specialist, James Davis. He is an expert on cord cutting, bill negotiations. He is an interweb specialist. When it comes to all-around entertainment and budgeting, no one beats the Budget King.
What's up? This is the Budget King. I don't know if you like me saying what's up, but it's really hard to start a podcast, even though I do have a little intro thing now. If you want to make me one, go ahead. All right. So, I have a couple things. First off, one thing is I was asked, hey, where can I get cheap pictures? Because I know that stealing them from Google Images don't work. Yeah, we all done that, where you look up look up house, you search it, but then you go into images, and then you see a bunch of houses, and whatever. I ain't never looked up Google image house before, by the way. But you right-click on it, whatever, save the image, and then you upload it if you need a picture of a house somewhere. But that's not the way to go about it. All right, there's a lot of royalty-free picture places out there. I mean, literally free, not with the little, their names across it and all that nonsense. One place that I like is called Upsplash. I'm not advertising for them. I'm just saying that's a way to get free pictures. Sure, if you can give credit to the person that's taking it, that's great. But yeah, so you know what? I'm never professional. So can you pause for just a second? All right, here we go. By the way, I'm working today. I don't usually work. No, actually, I'm not even working today. I'm on my way to a union meeting. I'm not actually working. We're having a meeting and eating breakfast and talking about stuff. So, all right. So back to what I was talking about. So, Upsplash is a place where you can get free images. Like I said, I promote things, but I don't promote that. Like I said, that's just a website that I know has royalty-free images. And, of course, if you could tip the person who took the picture, that's great. Just like podcasters like tip, too. You go to thebudgetking.com, there's a support link down there. Go ahead and throw $1 or $2 at me. It ain't going to hurt anything. All right, so back to other things. A big one I see is music. How many times have you heard, as long as you use 15 seconds of the song, it's okay. If you use 5 seconds of the song, it's okay. 30 minutes, a sample, not okay. First off, you could have a really great video, and you're playing music in the background, and then you go back to it, and then it's silenced, or there's some other weird music, okay? That's because you broke a copyright infringement, and you worked hard on something. To get the licensing for a big name song is very expensive. It could be $1,000, could be a lot more. But there are plenty of other places that have royalty-free music or a lot cheaper than trying to license a big name hit song. But, that's something you have to scour the web for. But I'm going to let you know right now that rather you play a second of a song, 5 seconds of a song, 15 seconds of a song, 30 seconds of a song, that's actually stealing. Yes, we've all done it. Shoot, a lot of us have even stole whole songs. We didn't try to monetize it, but I'm just saying, But, as we're getting more and more into this digital age, they're getting better at noticing. And, the problem is you might even be trying to promote that song, and you feel bad about it. And the singers, and the bands and stuff, they may not mind because you're like, all right, but some people get a little butt hurt, and there's a lot of people involved with making music that get a little kickback every time a song is bought. So, and you got to figure out who has the rights to let you do it, and you can go to places like BMG. Some of these places you can do searches, but in the old days we would get a record or a CD, and you can actually go and look in the paperwork and try to find out who's this and who's that. Now you just got to search it up, because I can't. Let's say I want a Kenny Rogers song. I can't just write Kenny Rogers and say, "Hey Kenny Rogers, can I use the song Gambler in my video?" And he'll text me back, "Sure, Jim. I don't care." Well, of course you don't care. He's not the one that would go after you. He's a freaking nice guy. He probably would let you, right? But unfortunately, the publishers and the people that have the rights to it, it's all in the contract negotiations. Who actually owns the rights? So that's the person that's going to care. The person that, there's a reason why they wanted them rights, and that was so they could go after and sue or shut down anybody that tries to use their music. So, you got to respect that. It's just like, it's just part of life, folks, and it sucks sometimes because you're like, man, wish there was like a nice way to do it. Like, hey, I bought the CD. I own this music. Don't work like that though. So, if you're making something, even trying to not monetize it, you're still breaking the law. You monetize it, you're truly breaking the law, because you're making money and they want to make money. So, if you go to invest in something huge like that, usually you can do it for a one-time event. You can use it for, like, say, I wanted to have a song at the beginning of my podcast. Every podcast I can do that. Or on TV, like when you hear songs, they have people that are they're showrunners and stuff like that. They're actually will be the people that would have to go and fetch down the copyright music if they want to use that in the background or anything. So there's big money in having the little catchy tunes. Like the show Friends, when they had that little song at the beginning of their show, shoot, that song became like a one-hit wonder for that group. Don't remember who they are, but I remember da 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 something. I don't freaking know. Anyways, that was a hit song for them. So, all right. So we know about copyright as far as that stuff goes. Okay, don't do it. Even if you mix it. Now, okay, that's what I was going to get into. There are some places that will allow you to mix some of their songs, and there's little tiny, like, there's some musicians and publishers that will allow you to use some of their music mixed in with something, as long as you're not monetizing it. So there are some groups out there that, in some places that, or some, publishers that don't mind the use of their song, because they know it will come back full circle and maybe help them out, because maybe somebody else will try to mix their song in or use it or whatever. But personally, I think that it's great. Like, if I had like an Alabama or Kenny Rogers song at the beginning, I just played like a little 15-20 minute clip, or any group, I'm just using it for example, maybe you'd listen to it, man, I used to love that song, and then you go download it on iTunes or wherever. So I got a cop up here. I'm not sure if he's got somebody pulled over, or it looks like he's in the ditch. I don't know. It's a beautiful day out here. It's like 38 degrees, and it's going on 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'm running a little bit behind. I know I'm probably the life of the party too, so nobody's going to start eating breakfast or talking how much money I want this next union negotiation without me. So, all right. Enough about the copyright crap, right? Okay, so this is the thing. Don't steal music. Don't steal pictures. And there are, I'm telling you, too many good places that allow you to have royalty-free music, people that are just wanting to get recognized. And, you know, if you can give the people credit, some of my music, I don't know who it is, but I don't even know who to give it credit to because it don't tell me. It's just part of my program, which, you know, that ain't my job to chase that down, but somebody I'm sure got paid at some point. So, that's that. But now, if you want a great web host, cyberlandhomes.com, that's the place to go. You know, they got cheap domain names, and man, morning's rough for me, folks. Mornings are rough for me. Sucks getting old. I don't even smoke. I don't smoke, don't chew, and I have not drank in so long. I'm not a big drinker anyways, like I said. I call them foo-foo drinks, little.
Hope you're enjoying thebudgetking.com. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make money on a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it's free. Yes, free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many other places. Yes, you can make money from your podcast with no listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one great place. So download the free Anchor app and go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM.
All right, I'm back. I might have been gone for a while. I may not have been gone at all, depending on how that ad may have hit. I apologize. I'm thankful that you listened to the different ads and stuff like that, but especially when I chop up ones. Might go back and chop off that Cyberland Homes ad. We'll see. But no, I have been asked to do a trucking podcast because the trucking world is huge right now for podcasting, and I happen to be a 2 million mile safe driver, and I've been trucking a long time, and I've been in web development, working with the internet, and doing a lot of different things for several years. Actually, it's strange. I was doing well in the internet world, and out of nowhere, I became a truck driver. But if you want to know that story, maybe I'll be telling it on my future podcast with this other thing. I'll let you all know in the future. I'm gonna still be doing these the Budget King podcast because I think it's important to know about saving money and all that. But this one here, I sort of just shoot from the hip. It's just to and from work. That one there is going to be a little more of a professional style podcast. But I like these little rough podcasts. Where you're just bullshit and driving down the road, and some people like that. I do. I love podcasts where people ain't like reading from a script. I like non-scripted. I need to put that in my thing. Non-scripted shit podcast when it has no caffeine in the system. Something like that, because my better podcast, I think there's 2 or 3 of them now out of like 23, 24. So if you're listening to this, I would give this one a C. And who knows, by the time it's over, maybe even a D or F. But hopefully you like it. Maybe you could share it with your friends. Maybe they'll like it. Do you know any dumb people with a lot of money to support my podcast? Send it to them. say, damn, this is the best podcast I've ever heard. If this guy can do it, I can do it. You should. Everybody should go do it. Go do it. Joe Rogan told me to go do it. He said, go do a podcast. I said, all right, I will. I'm like, I don't have any skills. I don't have any podcasting background. I did have one of the most successful MMA video. Jesus, I did have one of the most successful MMA vlogs on YouTube at one time. I just quit out of nowhere. It seems like I get something really successful with internet, YouTube, or whatever, and then I stop. So, like I said, I start from scratch. I started my Twitter for this particular podcast from scratch. I don't do Facebook. I did an Instagram for this particular podcast and this podcast itself. And I've done nothing to try to promote myself. I've never dropped names from my old stuff. There's something romantic and exciting about starting as a rookie and trying to work your way to the top of the heap. You know, like I have a podcast that gives Dave Ramsey hell about all he wants to do is sell books. You know how fun that is? That's great. You know, basically, Dave Ramsey's a bookseller. You know, it's so fun. You know, yeah, he's giving people advice, and they'll say, "Buy my new book." Come on, that's great. That's great stuff. That's great fun. I mean, this is a guy. You know, I've heard Dave Ramsey is really, really good about most investing and stuff like that. But when it comes to certain like life insurances and stuff like that, you better stay away from Dave Ramsey. You know, they say, oh, he's made millions off of these investments and this investment and all that. But, you know, when he's telling you about saving money, it is important to save money. You know, it is important to have something to fall back on in case something happens, you know. He means the best, but you know, he just set out this thing, right? And it's to basically show you, and you can look this up, all right? Dave Ramsey, he's doing comparable what would cost to live somewhere, like how much money you make now, right? And if you made that same amount of money, like say Chicago, Illinois, Greenville, South Carolina, or whatever, you know, or I'll have to come up with a different one. Tallahassee, Florida. He's got like two, but they're all major cities. It's like, listen, it's so stupid. It's like, yeah, every major city is gonna be a little more expensive to live in. I don't care what state it is. Like, trust me, Chicago, Illinois, right? Sucks. It's expensive to live there, though. If you want to live well, you know, yeah, you compare it to, like, South Carolina, it's going to be a lot cheaper to live there. Duh. You don't need to look that up. But what I want to know is, there's censuses done and all kinds of stuff. Like, how about compare the exact place where I live now, like a little small town in Indiana, compared to, like, Phoenix, Arizona, or something like that. You know, that would be interesting, Dave Ramsey, because anybody can make that little generic thing that you made. All right? It's just stupid. And, it's like, okay, here, you can look at this. This is free. Oh, man, Dave Ramsey's a genius. I should go buy his new book. That's the kind of thing that just cracks me up. It's like, dude, listen, if you're so rich, if you're so smart at investing, why don't you just give away all your shit for free? You know? Just give away your shit for free, man. If you're that freaking good. Well, that's the podcast for today, folks. Y'all have a wonderful day. I gotta go to my meeting. Bye.